team who's preparing for their World Cup. And we're hoping for another fantastic show like we saw yesterday. So everyone from Nepal at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, welcome aboard. Glad to have you.
And just to clarify, Ryan, 100 Fahrenheit. If it was 100 Celsius, I would definitely not be here.
Good catch. Good catch.
All of those watching in Nepal, definitely not 100 Celsius. We're pretty close to that 40 mark, though, I would say, with humidity.
So at this point, we have Nepal batting first. Yesterday, they batted second. So they want to have first strike. Ushan taking strike, lets this one go. And it's a dot ball. We'll have confirmation of the opening bowler. Seems like the Hurricanes made some changes themselves.
Kushal Bortel, the man to face the first delivery. And I tell you what, I was talking to their team manager earlier, Ryan, and they said they've just come out of their spring, and this weather is not something that they're used to either. Of course, coming from the northern hemisphere, everyone trying to get used to the climate in Texas. Nepal's playing its first 4 matches in the U.S. for the World Cup.
I'll tell you what, Nepal, fantastic performance we saw yesterday. Chasing, winning. Then they had that super over, which was absolutely thrilling. Houston Hurricanes put up 15 runs in the super over. Nepal came within 4 balls, finished it off. Some towering sixes as they prepare for the ultimate test. So the two same openers from yesterday, Kushal Patel and Mohammad Asif Sheikh, the wicketkeeper, taking first strike. Can they put up a troubling score? This one close to the body and the first single. So bear with us. We're going to have cricket clubs coming up pretty soon on your screen where you can see the scoreboard. And that's going to do all of us a huge favor.
We just finished a very exciting game of cricket this morning as well. The last game of the USA-Bangladesh series. Bangladesh taking a consolation win home. That's going to be 4 runs. 4 wides. That's an extremely poor delivery from the Hurricanes, and Nepal pick up an easy 4 runs, easy 5 runs because it was a wide.
So the experienced Justin Dill just straightened up the leg side. And at this point, 5 without loss. Driven to the offside beautifully. But there's a man at deep point. Came off right in the middle of the bat. Always a good sign for the openers as they try to find some form and build an innings for this Nepal team.
Speaking of the Nepali team and their coaching staff, they do have, or an ex-fitness coach is now coaching the Hurricanes. And he's worked for about 6 years for Nepal cricket before he took on this role.
Outside off stump, flashes. Because it went over the bat, it's not going to be a wide. And Justin Dill will go back and do it all over again. Just to remind everyone, Nepal, as everyone will know, is in Group D with Bangladesh, Netherlands, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. Nepal plays its first match against the Netherlands on June 4th. So still some time to prepare. But the conditions in the southern hemisphere or the southern part of the USA can be unforgiving. Outside off stump and cut away. And looks like he caught it. He's out. For a second we thought it was on the ground, but it held up. And the first wicket falls.
What a fantastic catching effort that was out in the deep. A diving effort results in the first wicket for Nepal. And that was none other than Mohammad Asif Sheikh, the opening bowler. He's done the job with the ball, and now he's throwing himself around in the field. Nepal lose their first wicket.
Well, Dill had a rough start to his over, but seems to have tidied things up. Got the ball on or about off stump the last couple of deliveries. Batters trying to score, and Sheikh, falling victim, caught in cover. And that's the end of the first over. And the first wicket has fallen for Nepal. We'll be back for the second.
The new batter out in the middle, Anil Kumar Shah, had a handy knock yesterday, 47 to his name yesterday, falling just short of his half century. We're going to see a change in the bowling as well. Again, we apologize. We're just working out some technical issues with our scoreboard display. So hang in there a little bit longer. We'll have that all sorted out as soon as possible.
In the meantime, Kushal Patel, the steady opener, will be facing. It's going to be Cornell Dry. The loud swinger, beautiful. Invited him into the shot and left him standing. No edge, 8 without loss. And here we have our scorecard up. I'm sure there's a round of applause in Nepal.
And here as well, Ryan.
So Cornell Dry plays in minor league cricket and franchise cricket in the US. Again, that outswinger, beautifully bowled.
Yeah, he's a tall man. Dry, very tall, lengthy. And you know what? The advantage as a fast bowler when you've got long levers is that ball's coming from so much higher. You can put your back into it, get that extra zip off the pitch.
Correct. And Cornell Dry uses that height to perfection. If he could continue to put that ball on just about off stump in that corridor of uncertainty. Cornell Dry. Again, just short of a length, because the batters don't seem to have their eye in as yet. Can't take full advantage of the loose ball or the short ball. 8 for the loss of the first wicket.
Yesterday's game was a morning game, Ryan. 10 o'clock, there was a beautiful breeze. Today we're playing at 3 o'clock. Dead heat out there, no breeze whatsoever. I know we're hot, but I'm not sure about those batters, because that is a lot of padding in this heat.
Monali Patel, Ryan Davis on commentary. Glad to have you on board. Cornell Dry. Short delivery, cut away. And that's gone for 4. The loose ball, and he took full advantage of it.
What a shot that was from Kushal Patel. Up at the top, short, wide, and smacked away through the covers. There we see it just sitting up for him, and it's placed beautifully. Another 4 runs to Nepal. Four runs coming in the over so far. 3 deliveries left. Nepal 12 for 1. And correction, that was Anil who hit that boundary. He is off the mark. And off the mark in style with 4 runs.
Cornell Dry's first loose ball, and it was dispatched. Again, and he's caught behind. You beauty. Cornell Dry has been nibbling and niggling in his first few deliveries, and the outswinger worked to perfection.
What a delivery that was, Ryan. Just moving away from the right-hander, picking up a thick edge, and great stuff by the keeper. Take a quick look at that replay. Again, those long levers coming into effect. You see the ball moving ever so slightly away, and a diving effort by the keeper. Nepal lose their second.
It's almost that unplayable delivery where the ball leaves you just enough time to catch the edge. A late outswinger and corner dry. His reputation is fantastic. And Anil Shah has defeated Father Time. 47 yesterday. He has won the competition. Father Time has retired. 47 Anil Shah turned yesterday. What an accomplishment. Just departed here. But the fact that he's going to play his first World Cup at that age is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, tricky stuff batting. One day you're in form and the next day you're out early on. But credit to Cornet Dry. That was an incredible delivery to pick up a wicket. The new man out in the middle is the skipper, Rohit Kumar Paudel. And he came in a similar situation yesterday. 2 down, not many runs on the board. And he's going to be expected to do the same thing today. Anchor this innings, get them to a place where they can start to be aggressive again. Not the easiest of pitches to bat on. We saw that this morning when USA took on Bangladesh. Of course, drier conditions now, so we'll have to see how that comes into play. But overall, the wicket has been tough to bat on.
Absolutely. 140 is a great score on this pitch, just like yesterday. Again, tries the outswinger, but tried to start it on or about leg stump and picked himself up a wide.
This is a real pet peeve of mine, Ryan. The bowler's done a fantastic job picking up a wicket, first delivery up to the new batter, and you end up giving them a wide.
So you have hot weather, and then that what you just said, so that's tick, tick, got it. I have the list right out here.
Hot weather was not a pet peeve. It's just an insane reality.
Yep.
You know, hats off to all of you living in Texas.
Don't take your hat off, it's too hot. 13 for 2, dry again. This one coming into the right-hander. And Nepal, this is what they have. This is why they're having these reps. It is the end of over number 2, but this is why they're having these reps, to try and get themselves into form, go through some torrid times, some really testy times out in the middle, and this is exactly what they're looking for. And the Houston Hurricanes, having pedigree and playing on their home field, is obliging. Yesterday they put up a fantastic total, and now Nepal batting first, and here's their lineup for today.
Batting lineup for Nepal. We've got Kushal Bhurtel, who's still out there. Mohammad Asif just falling very recently. Anil Kumarasa, Rohit Kumar Paudel, the captain, out there in the middle right now. Kushal Mallap. It's a very good side. They've been unchanged since yesterday as well, so this will be interesting to see. With an unchanged side, we saw the batters up at the top struggle. They've struggled again in this game. They do have some warm-ups, but it's not a very satisfying feeling if you were the coach of Nepal, knowing that 2 games in a row your opening pair has now failed, as we get yet another wide from Cornet Dry.
Well, actually, yesterday, Anil Shah, 47, was one of the pick of the batters. So I think they're really trying to shave the squad down to 11, 12, 13 players, make it a tight-knit unit. Everyone knows their roles, what's expected at their given positions, and Nepal really starting to hone in on that 11. This one right up against the body. Dylan Dry, 2 tall customers that the Houston Hurricanes have provided for Nepal to face.
We've got 1 legal delivery to come in this over. For all of you Nepali fans out there, your team is wearing their new World Cup jersey.
Wow, that is a beauty. We saw the away movement in the air for Dry. Now for Dill, it was a leg cutter. Hit the seam and left Rohit in his crease. There it is.
Just shaping away, completely squaring the batter up. And in the end, goes through to the keeper, but very uncomfortable, the two batters out in the middle.
Here's Dill steaming in from the forest then. This one coming back into the right-hander, excellently fielded at point.
And those of you watching this game, if you would like to get your hands on one of these Nepal World Cup shirts, there is a discount code available for you. HamroKhelkud, HamroKhelkud. Just use the code at checkout and you can get a discount of 300 rupees.
Can I just say this? You show up in an Australian shirt or an English shirt or an Indian shirt, that's so common. You come in that Nepal shirt, you stand out, and you almost wing it for a cause. Dill, down the track he comes. But Dill dropped it short, and that's going to be, is it a no ball? Over the shoulder of the batter.
I think just giving one for the over.
And he's just showing, he's just showing that it's just the one short ball. There it is. Dill responding to the batter coming on the wicket. And banged it in short to get a dot ball.
You're very smart bowling. Good awareness of where the batter is and what the plan is in the batter's head.
Nepal 16 for 2. The openers back in the pavilion. This one's a slower delivery. No run, another dot ball.
Ryan, what are you expecting they're going to get out of these the power play overs, Nepal, today? Knowing the pitch is tricky, knowing that you've lost 2 wickets already.
I think if they can get to 28, will be fantastic, but they'll need a strong finish to this over and a good one in the next. Turned off the hips, and that's trickling down to the boundary. They're going to come back for an easy 2. So that gets us through 3 overs. It is 19 for 2 after 3.
Training Institute.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
Corner dry, continuing from the southern end, and again, right on off stump. He's lived there bar 1 or 2 deliveries and got the vital breakthrough. Found the edge of Mohammad Asif Sheikh, the wicketkeeper for Nepal, got him back in the dressing room.
We had this discussion yesterday, Ryan, the importance of what minor league has brought to USA cricket. It's improved the level of cricket.
Absolutely. Last 3 years, one step at a time. The facilities, the broadcasts, the fielders, the batters, you name it. It's improved. Outswinger, but whipped off his legs. There's cover out there. You're seeing what Cornell Dry wants to do, though. He wants to pitch that ball at middle stump and have it leave the right-hander just outside off. But he's starting to stray, and it's 20 for 2.
So difficult as a pace bowler, as a bowler in general in T20 cricket. You can't miss your line or your length at all, or you do get punished. Of course, this wicket a little bit more difficult, so you've got some leeway there, but you really have to be on your mark.
Dry, steaming in, full of confidence. Short at the hips. It's an easy one for the batters. So just before this match, the USA played Bangladesh in their third match of the series. Of course, USA winning the first two matches to seal the series at 2-0, but Bangladesh came roaring back like any Tiger should and defeated the USA by 10 wickets to make a statement into their own dressing room and make a statement to everyone else that they're back and ready to go.
Yeah, great consolation win for Bangladesh today, and they won in great fashion. 108 for no loss, as that's going to be another wide. You know, we talked about the Bangladeshi batters struggling, and today there was no sign of that whatsoever.
They were given a small score at 104, and their mentality changed. They adjusted their mentality, and they built an innings, and then when they got going, there was no stopping. Young Tamim, the left-handed opener for Bangladesh, scored 50 not out. Try. That's the delivery once, just short of a length. The corridor of uncertainty. It was my favorite shot. It was a flick through cover. The leg glance through cover is the most effective shot in cricket, I'll have you know. We saw a couple of those played yesterday, and that was the first one of this match.
Well, that and then the French cut, your favorite shots. And I really do need to see how you train, because
1 out of 10 and you're a winner.
So you were only unorthodox, is what you were saying.
Correct. Dry. Short delivery, cut away. But the fielding matched the shot. And there's no run, a dot ball. And the fielders come around. Look at the spirit.
Well, that was a fantastic fielding effort. Ali Sheikh, diving effort, definitely stopping a boundary there. This was hit hard, chipping down the wicket and smashed.
Got all of it.
Take a look at that effort. Diving to his right, Ali Sheikh.
We talked about what minor league cricket has done in this country. Well, there you go. Corner dry, the last ball of the power play. High in the air, and it's going to be a boundary. You drop it too short in the pitch, and the batters are going to lick their lips.
Yeah, almost a nothing delivery, just short, straight, not as much pace to worry the batters. And there you see, onto it in a flash, pulled away, and it's going to be 4 runs.
Fantastic shot, Monali. And this one crashed into defense, and that's the end of the 4th over. Is a suspected sighting of, is that delivery cut again, bottom edge, and the batters, do they get the single? Very indecisive.
Now there's something we have not seen from Nepal, indecisiveness between the wickets. And is this because of really good fielding or the heat?
Could be a bit of both. Well said, Monali. It's uncomfortable out there. It feels like 100 degrees with the humidity. Fahrenheit, not Celsius. If it was Celsius, we'd all be dead. And here is which we think is Shaban Rashani. This one coming back in. Another dot ball. And the question for Nepal, not the quickest of starts within the power play.
Yeah, just 26 runs on the board, 2 wickets down, which is the important part. Only into the 5th over. But the reality is they will need to steady this ship before they can go. You know, they've lost 2 batters up at the top. It's going to take some repair job, and then they can finally look to open up their shoulders. Omar Farouk, the bowler.
Wraps him on the pad, and the umpire calls no ball. Came right back in. It would have been one of those hairline decisions, but a no ball called. And now it's going to be a free hit.
Be interesting to see how close that was. Loud appeal from the bowler. If it was a no ball in the end, looked a little high, maybe even potentially going down leg. Regardless, it's a no ball and it's a free hit.
That's right, and Kushal Patel, who's been there from the start, he's faced 12 balls for 5 runs. Let's see what he does. It's gone after it in the air. One bounced him it off. And it's going to be a loud dot ball.
We saw this earlier with Bangladesh USA. The timing is very difficult for the batters. The pitch is holding up. It's not coming on as well as you like. Not the easiest of batting conditions.
Correct. And I think batters in the T20 format usually have wickets that the ball come onto them. I think this is an opportunity for batters out in the middle to make the correct adjustment, play shots off of the back foot, and if you're going to come forward, make sure you get right on top of it. There's that short delivery, a top edge, it's in the air. And we saw the leg glance through cover, and now we see the hook shot through extra cover. And that's gone for 4. Monali, you're laughing, but it's the best shot in the book.
Definitely not intended where you'd have liked it, but listen, he got a hold of it, and the bats today allow you to do that. There's enough meat. There's enough meat on the bat for it to get to the boundary.
Listen, you do a hook shot and you get it over extra cover. I need applause. Don't need criticisms after that. All right, so
it's 4 runs, okay?
4 runs. It's in the book. And Britell gets a boundary. He's struggling out there despite the fantastic hook over extra cover. But he goes to 9 off of 15. Score 31 for 2.
Killing me, Ryan. With your
Ryan, heat, pet peeves. It's been a long day for Monali Patel.
You know what? After this, I think we're going to pad you up and you got to go bat because I want to see just how unorthodox it can get. I'll tell you, Brian will not be watching that because he's already told me what proper cricket is.
Right. So Britell is struggling at the middle, but he is still out there. 9 off 15. Tries to lift this one, and again, goes nowhere where it was intended. Monali, you describe that shot. The floor is yours.
I'm just going to say it's very difficult to time on this wicket. The ball's not coming on as well as he would have liked. We'll say it's a punch into the wicket.
Good enough. Here it is, trying to rock back on that back foot and just get his wrists through the ball, but it held up and got a leading edge to mid-on.
Would it be fair to say we've had more runs come off of the edges of the bats in this game so far than the middle?
I would say you're right. I think Brian Walters will have a statistic on that. He's usually very handy with his laptop. So we're 5 overs gone, 31 for 2. Speaking of Brian Walters, he's about to walk to the crease and take his guard. He's a tall, statuesque Jamaican. Left arm, fast. I said fast medium, he corrected me. He said left arm fast. So many incredible fast bowlers from Jamaica. Michael Holding, of course. Courtney Walsh. Patrick Patterson, the quickest of them all. Brian Walters. Well, we have a change of bowling in the Houston Hurricanes. And Brian, any chance, number 15 for the Hurricanes?
Ali Sheikh.
Ali Sheikh to the rescue.
Ali Sheikh, for me, will always be considered, if not the best fielder in the country, one of the top 2 or 3.
You can't field your way to wickets, so he has to bowl now.
This is true. But I was building to that. He's also one of the more promising young all-rounders in the country. Left arm orthodox spin and the left hand. He's starting to be more of a power hitter these days. He's a little bit older now. He's about 21 years old.
Not 47 like the guy.
He's not 47.
Okay. So, left arm orthodox into the pad, just works it away, gets one. And Nepal, we talked about them building towards the World Cup.
Yep.
Brian, it's not easy out there. We spoke about the conditions. It was tough yesterday, but they found a way to get past the total of 145 to win. And now they're trying to build a total completely different from yesterday when you know your target.
If you've never played cricket in this part of the country, it is brutal. So a major part of this is just being acclimatized to the conditions. And, of course, the Hurricanes play right here in Prairie View, so they will be familiar with the conditions, at least some of them who are not actually on the Hurricanes from other minor league franchises, but play here very often during the season.
It is tough to commentate as well. Monali's having a hard time. She's sweating. She's overheating. Left arm orthodox, and he digs it out. Well, he's certainly varying his length. He pitched one up outside off stump, an excellent ball. Usually builds up dot balls if you can find that spot. But at the moment, and punched back, almost a caught and ball opportunity.
That is evidence of what I'm referring to with this fielding ability, because that just about carried all the way back to him.
So the wicket just holding up Ali Sheikh. And Brattel again trying to play through the line. You can't do that on this wicket. It was one of those where he should have rolled his wrist.
Yeah, that next delivery, staying just a touch low. They'll get through for a single. But I think at this stage of the innings, the Hurricanes will be happy with just conceding, 3-4 runs and over. That's essentially what they've gotten so far in this over.
Ali Sheikh, left arm orthodox. The skipper, Rohit Kumar Podel, squeezed out a single, and that is the end of the 6th over, 34 for 2.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle has completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
Rook from the Forest End. And he will continue to the skipper, Rohit Kumar Podel, captain of this outfit. Has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, not only with the bat, but to manage this team on the field. Brian, you ever skippered aside?
I have skippered aside. I've also, in fact, I've skippered 2 different sides, and I've been vice captain a number of times. I've always found it easier to be a vice captain than a captain.
This one pitched up and flicked off the legs. Fielder comes across, expertly done. And they come back for 2. I was a skipper at one time we have something called backyard cricket. It's about 3 of us. I was captain and vice captain. Brian, you heard the question coming from our producer, Roddy Lalman.
I did hear the question.
Repeat the question, please.
The question is, have I ever umpired and commentated at the same time? I will tell you that I live in Austin, about 120 miles away. And it has been a number of times that I've showed up here fully intent on commentating, and they say to me, Brian, we're short umpires. We need you to go stand in 98 degrees and 100% humidity and umpire 2 games.
Nobody ever questioned your commitment.
They never have.
Well, I tell you what, Nepal at the moment, a rough start. And yes, the power play at 34 for 2. And now, but they're building a bit of an innings now. The skipper, Podell, and Brittel are putting together a mini innings. This one is just pushed into mid-wicket. But this is exactly what Nepal needs at the moment. Yes, you're constantly looking for boundaries, Brian, but there's more to T20 cricket than that.
You know, even in the limited overs form of the game, everybody wants to do scoop shots and switch hits and 4s and 6s. But an element that can never be lost is you still can't get bogged down. You still have to look for ways to work the ball into the gaps and get singles. And so the idea is you can score big, but you also need to be able to take advantage of those situations where the boundaries aren't coming.
Never underestimate rotating strike. Short delivery and pulled away beautifully. Well, didn't get all of it. The shot looked good. Just didn't get behind it.
The shot looked very good.
10 out of 10 with the stroke play. The connection, 1 out of 10.
It was almost as though Joshua Trump, who is back on the boundary at square leg, would have thought it was coming to him, ended up not coming anywhere near close, and then eventually gets there. Joshua Trump coming off the ropes and is able to get that one back in. But
I mean, we're talking Virat Kohli type pull shot there. And it just trickled to the square leg umpire. Well, we just got word. It hits the umpire's foot. And so Brian Walters, they may need an umpire at square leg.
No, don't even.
We're not going to question your commitment. We're just going to merely ask the question. Outside off stump, late cut. Third man and deep point has some work to do. Just the one.
Well, the umpire who is in your shot right now, Cameron Best, is my former captain. And so if he says to me, Brian, we need you out there, I'm sort of obligated to go out there, am I not?
Your former skipper.
My former skipper.
Makes the request.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, you have to go
But you have to go out there with the earpiece and the commentary booth and the microphone, though. Because we want a little bit of both.
Kill like 3 birds with 1 stone.
Nepal will be like, wow, so that's how they do it in the U.S. Commentate and umpire. Usman, and that is a dot ball.
Still Umar Farouk. Ignore what your screen says. Usman Shinwar is a left-handed pace bowler who is not who you're seeing right now. That should be the end of the over. 37 for 2 after 7.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
We are back in beautiful Prairie View Cricket Complex, just about an hour's northeast of Houston, Texas. Memorial Day weekend, introducing the summertime in the United States. And Brian Walters is eager to jump on the mic here. Brian?
Well, eager is a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm reminded it is currently about 96 degrees, somewhere around...
In the shade, man.
In the shade. Real hot. But I'm flashing back to, I don't know, 20 years ago when I'm playing in these conditions, running in from the southern end, running into the wind. It feels like you're running with a heater blowing directly at you. And so my skipper, there's another really good fastball on our team. So I'd usually draw the short straw running into the wind. And I'm flashing back to running in 96, 97 degrees, and the wind blowing at you. It is hard work.
Well, in the subcontinent, in India and Pakistan, of course, they suffer the same fate. This one is whipped off the legs, and Sri Lanka. Just the one. Some quick notes from our Wikipedia guide, Subas, who is at the controls at YouTube. Still, Dependra, I can't pronounce that last name, Brian. Dependra, can you say it?
Nope. Irie.
Brian Walters from Jamaica says it best. Dependra Irie. Of course, Dependra Irie has the record for the quickest 50 in T20 cricket. A mere 9 balls he faced. And what Subas told us, he had 6 sixes last month in a game. We're sorry we didn't see him. He's nursing an ankle injury.
Wow. Amazing.
Houston Hurricanes are not too disappointed. They're happy he's not here. The assistant coach says he's not going to utilize him or try to hurry him back.
So you asked the question about captaincy earlier, Ryan. A bit of extra bounce that time, but one of the things that the captains have to sort of gauge during this tournament or this 2-match series is balancing the need to get your primary players enough match practice and not overworking them in these conditions. And so it would be interesting to see how that decision is made.
I think you're absolutely right. Towing that line is the hardest thing. We all look at practice matches and say, oh, it's a practice match. But so much has to get done in so little time on the field where the skipper and the manager want to get players on the outskirts playing time, but yet want to get the regulars efficient balls faced and balls delivered.
In the meantime, this is a change in bowling. That appears to be Shubham Ranjani, who will be coming into bowl. Nope, Zia Shazad. No, in fact, that may be Shubham Ranjani. We'll confirm that as soon as we can. And in fact, yeah, this is Shubham Ranjani.
Pushed into the offside. Yep, Zia, as we remember, is a spinner, so he is not bowling at the moment. But we talk about little partnerships. This little partnership is now accelerating. And yes, they're not scoring quickly because the conditions are tough, but also it calls for a partnership. It calls for someone, for 2 players to sit there, occupy the crease and build something for the rest of the team to build off of.
You're exactly right. So this partnership now worth some 33 runs. Came together when the score was 12 for 2. And Shubham Ranjani, not a strike bowler necessarily, but does enough to keep it thereabouts. He'll be somewhere around 130 or so kilometers an hour.
He's going after this one. It's high in the air. Fielder comes around. Will he hold on? He does not. He's made a meal of it. The batter survives.
Wow. Ball stayed in the air a very long time. You see that ball skied toward wide long on. And for a second, you think that he may just not have been able to judge exactly where he was. Might have thought he was closer to the ropes than he ended up being.
Well, they get a long single. So Bratel is going to face now. He's gone after this one. But an inside edge. And they pick up another single.
That'd be Naman Anwar down there at the boundary. Naman Anwar is a brilliant opening bat. Feels generally closer, usually in the infield. Haven't seen him do a whole lot in the outfield, and I don't know necessarily that would be his strength.
You couldn't tell from that last play. 47 for 2. The slower delivery lifts it up and over, and to safety. Batters want to. They're not going to get it. Overthrows maybe. Yes, they do. Add one more to the total. So 2 off of the shots, a single and an overthrow. They go to 49.
So runs not exactly flowing at the torrential rate just now. Scoring rate is going to be 5.65. That projects to a score of 113. I think for you to challenge the Hurricanes, you're looking for something around 130 at least.
Absolutely. And I think as this partnership continues to grow, they're going to get to that 130 spot at least. Rohit just punches it to get the single. Take that back. That was Kushal.
Brings up to 50, by the way. 50 comes up with one ball remaining here in over number 9. Relatively slow batting, as I said. 5.66. That scoring rate is not going to intimidate the Hurricanes. And of course, bearing in mind that they're a little bit more comfortable with the conditions than is Nepal.
So a single to finish the over. 51 for 2 after 9.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle has completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
We are in over number 10. Ali Sheikh will come back with his left arm orthodox. And he's going to be bowling to Kushal Britell, 16 off of 27. He's anchoring the innings at the moment. Take that back. He's actually going to bowl to Rohit. Britell is at the non-striker's end. Plays through the line. And the batters get a long single.
Ali Sheikh generally plays that holding role where you get through those middle overs, not necessarily a strike bowler, but does enough to keep the batters quiet.
This one played off to the onside. And he gets 2 more runs. So Britell at the moment starting to move things along, and you'll understand that, Brian. The longer you stay out in the crease, the more you can pick up the line of the ball, and the opener may be able to start cutting loose. Sweep shot. Behind square, it's a long chase for the square leg fielder, and he's not going to get there. And Britell, with all his patience, is rewarded for a boundary. And the score races to 58 for 2.
So it was a long chase, and Umar Farouk didn't necessarily sprint after that one in the Texas heat. I think he gave up the chase about 20 yards too early. There you see him just jogging casually into your screen.
Can we question his commitment?
I assume that he would think, you know what, if there's a real chance of me getting this, I'll put the afterburners on.
But you have to kind of show that there's a real chance, though.
He made an executive decision.
Yeah, he did. He did. 58 for 2. Britell. Short, whipped off his hips. Easy single. We have Monali Patel warming up just behind us. She'll be coming back onto commentary in just over a couple of deliveries.
Monali Patel, brilliant off spinner. So she's going through a couple. She wants to insist that she's a batter, but believe me, she's also a good off spinner. This one going for a couple.
All bowlers think they're batters, except number 11. All bowlers think they're batters. Can't say the other way around. Batters don't presume that they're bowlers, but bowlers always presume they can bat.
She will insist that she was the anchor at the top of the lineup, and I think history will prove that she was exactly that. But, you know, she's on the commentary crew, so we have to Rub it in every once in a while.
Ali Sheikh is getting through his overs. 2.4, none for 17, no wickets. So it's the middle overs. Can be a little bit testy for batters who like to score quickly. You have to graft and pick up his singles and twos wherever you can. Sheikh, full delivery. Thought he could have done more with that, Brian.
He tossed it up, excuse me, and it was right on off stump. You would think that had he not played across it, there's a little bit of turn going toward the offside, so you would think something in the range of extra cover is where that ball would have been played.
So 10 overs are gone. We're halfway through this innings. It is 60 for 2.
We've just taken a quick drinks break. Of course, it's a very hot day out there. And by hot, I do mean about 40 to 43 degrees Celsius is what it actually feels like out there. I'm going to say it in Celsius. I know a lot of people watching this game are also in the Celsius sort of realm. Of course, America's got to be different about everything. But a little bit of insight into Nepali cricket back at home. They have one international cricket ground. It's based in Kathmandu, the capital. Capacity 15,000 people. TU ground it's in Khelkud, and it hosts all of the international matches. And you know what the best part about this? The temperature is usually around mid-20s Celsius. No humidity. And of course, we know they're known for their spinners. And that's exactly what they have in terms of tracks at that stadium. So, in short, if you want to not bake in the Texan sun, that's where you need to be, in Nepal. Of course, beautiful views as well. You've got the mountains.
Do you know what we call the mid-20s Celsius in Texas?
Winter.
Exactly. February.
You have no idea what winter is. Again, a big thank you to all of the Nepali fans watching this, everyone watching this, in fact. As that's played into the leg side for a quick single. We know it is very late. It's 2:40 in the morning in Nepal, and if you're watching this, you're supporting your team. Hats off to you, because really that takes dedication, and I'm sure your team appreciates the support as well.
Absolutely. By the way, the 50 partnership, this pair came together when the score was 12. They are now, oh, I spoke too soon. He gave it away, chipped it right back to the bowler, Hamro, accepting the return catch with glee. That is the end of this partnership, because Kushal ends up just chipping a pretty meek chance right back to the bowler himself, and that is wicket number 3, Manali.
Unfortunate decision. We can call it commentator's curse on this side.
Yes.
Brian was just complimenting.
I have taken more wickets this weekend than any of the people on the field.
To take a quick look. Surprised by the extra bounce, and it's just an easy catch back to the bowler.
Yeah, just a bit of, let's call it, two-faced aspects to this pitch that maybe held up a little bit, bounced a little bit more than he was expecting. And Kushal Bortel not able to maintain control of that one. If you're taking a return catch as a bowler, particularly as a fast bowler, that's the kind of return catch that you want to see. Just meekly played back in his direction, accepting that catch with complete glee.
Nepal, they've just lost their 3rd wicket, 63 for 3. The new man in, Kushal Malla, he's at the crease. He hit 2 sixes, 1 4 in 4 balls of the super over yesterday. And that super over was as easy as it could get for Nepal, all because of Kushal Malla. They needed 15 or 16 correction to win the over, and he made it look effortless.
So 63 for 3, Kushal Malla now, the left-hander facing up to the right-handed Shubham Ranjane.
It's a very good delivery from Zia, just outside the edge of Kushal Malla's bat. Played uppishly into the leg side. He picks up a single. Kushal Malla's off the mark. And correction, the bowler is Shubham Ranjane. Whoever has written this team list
shall be
has done a fantastic job.
And they'll be marched to Principal Manala Patel's office.
That's written beautifully, only to find the fielder in the cover. It's going to be a dot ball.
Manali, both of my parents were school teachers, and in fact my father was the principal of the school that I attended in Jamaica. So
I need to have a conversation necessary. How often do we see, Brian, a beautiful shot straight to the fielder? And as I say that, it's flicked into the leg side. It's going to be a dot ball, and it is also going to be the end of the over. We're going to hold that thought and come back with you shortly. 63 for 3 at the end of 11. Chaitanya Bishnoi, the new bowler in. Not to be confused with the Bishnoi that plays for India. But in the end, still someone who can hold his own. And just getting to the point about hitting the ball to the fielders, you know, how often do we see that? And you've got to keep reminding yourself, we're not looking for where the fielders are in the field. We're looking for where the gaps are.
So again, as a former international player, Manali, talk about the importance of being able to maneuver the ball into those gaps.
There we go, a wide signaled. Starting with a wide, first up, Bishnoi is so important, especially in situations where you're bogged down, you're not getting the free-flowing bat, the free-flowing shots. You got to be able to manipulate the field, try and pick up your singles, doubles. And as I say that, there's a big shout. It looked fairly high. I believe the umpire agrees as well. Well above the batting pads.
Umpire Myron James is a very experienced umpire, but Manali, there is some dispute as to whether or not that would have hit. I would think that's bouncing probably 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches over top of middle and leg.
Swept and swept beautifully. Fielder giving chase, and he's going to be a spectator watching that go down to the boundary. A very, very good looking shot. Again, the skipper leading from the front.
Solid looking shot. The angle is around the wicket to the left-hander, but you're going to want that ball to be more outside off. The previous delivery was outside off and turned back in and troubled the batter. But this one is pitching probably on the leg stump, so that's not going to trouble any batter. And if you're good with on the sweep, which is what you saw there from Rohit Kumar Paudel, easy to put those away for 4.
Flighted delivery, and it's picked up. It's going down the ground. And lucky for Bishnoi, he's got protection in the right area. Rohit Paudel is looking more and more confident with every passing delivery, and he's doing the job that he did yesterday, anchoring the innings, getting Nepal in a position where they're not going to be in a lot of bother when they've got to come back and defend this total.
Well, you're getting to the stage of the innings where you're going to try to accelerate. So Bishnoi has a job to do here. That is well bowled. Slower through the air and a little bit of turn, and it's the perfect length that draws the right-hander forward. That's a better length for Bishnoi. And I think this angle of attack to the left or to the right-hander works very, very well for him.
Looking to cut that. It's just going to be a single to end that delivery. We've still got 2 legal deliveries to come, but here's a fun fact for you. Until just last month, Kushal Malla actually held the record for the fastest 100 in 34 deliveries. And to rub salt on his wounds, Nico Lofty Eaton of Namibia beat his record against them in a game that he played by 1 ball, 33 ball 100.
I remember several years ago, I think it was Shahid Afridi who scored 137 balls. And the
37? That's too many.
That's what I'm saying. The commentator was Sunil Gavaskar, and he said, back in our days, it took me 37 balls just to get off the mark. That is the end of the over. The score is 71 for 3.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
We're back to the action. Nepal 72 for 3. They have solidified what was a poor start thanks to the skipper, Rohit Paudel. Again, he's played a very good innings. 32 off 32 today. And the Houston Hurricanes, they've got some work cut out for them. As I say that, that's gone high up in the air. There is a fielder getting underneath, and it's going to be a dismissal. Unfortunate stuff for Nepal to have lost their 4th wicket.
Pretty straightforward catch. That looks like Smith Patel down there, long on, in fact, long off. And it was skied. Looks like that one might have came off the outer edge of the bat, and a pretty safe catch in the end. Again, I believe that that's Smith Patel down there, who usually has the gloves on, but with Lahiri Milanta in the side, he's fielding in the outfield and takes a pretty simple, a pretty straightforward catch. So that is wicket number 4 that goes down, and the Nepalese are struggling just a little bit now.
Welcome to View Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
Well, Nepal just lost their 4th wicket, 72 for 4. And it was Kushal Malla. We take a quick look at that replay again. Went sky high and very tough to take those catches in this sort of condition where it's blue skies, it's hot, the sweat's running into your eyes, but Smith Patel does a very good job. And the Houston Hurricanes, they get a breakthrough. Of course, they would have liked for it to be Rohit Podal instead of Malla, but nonetheless, Gulshan Jha, the new man out in the middle to help their skipper try and get to a decent total. We've still got a lot of overs to come, Brian. We're just into the 13th over. I think this might be a big score.
Just into the 13th. Another 47 deliveries left in this innings. The scoring rate is a touch under 6, 5.92. So projecting forward from here, you're looking at 118. Keep saying that number 130 is somewhere around what they'd need to be looking for. Shubham Ranjane has bowled very well. Into his 3rd over, 2 for 8. And again, in the bottom right of your screen, it says Zia Shahzad. It's actually Shubham Ranjane, 2 for 8 into his 3rd. So those 2 big wickets certainly have had the impression, or had the effect of pegging back the Nepalese middle order. You mentioned the conditions, and so after this delivery, at the risk of taking over your role, I'd want for you to talk a little bit about how a professional cricketer blocks out the conditions and focuses on the job.
Well, it's going to be a dot ball, and surprised by the extra bounce there, Gulshan. I'll tell you what, and I'm sure you would probably agree with me on this. In your playing days, or in our playing days, somehow the heat was not as big of a deal. And it's because this is where your fitness comes into play. The fitter you are, the more accustomed you are to these conditions, you will adjust to them better. And you'd expect that Nepal, having played as much cricket coming into this, it's pushed into the offside. They should pick up a couple here. He's just going to stick to the 1 run. The amount of cricket that they've played, they had a series against the West Indies A coming into this as well. They're accustomed to this heat. I think they've done the right things to prepare and to not let it bother them mentally or physically.
I would agree with that. And when you're on the field, the adrenaline is running. You then have the ability to block out a lot, which would include the overall conditions. This is played into the outfield. A couple of runs here as Corny Dry had a long run, couldn't prevent that 2nd run. But it is when you walk off of the field and the adrenaline has worn off that you realize, my goodness, I think I just sweated about 20 gallons of fluid, which is where hydration becomes so much of an issue. A lot of people who play in this part of the country for the first time end up suffering from cramps because they're not aware of how hydrated you need to stay under these conditions.
Well, I'll tell you, a really nice Texan man, when I first arrived, said, double your water intake.
I fully endorse that. So that is the end of over number 13. It appears Nepal batting first is 77 for 4.
You never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
Nepal 76 for 4, 13 overs gone, and Gulshan Jha, the man out in the middle, is the youngest on this side, 18 years of age. He played the U15 World Cup in 2024, or the U19 World Cup, I should say, in 2024. He's a strike bowler. He came into the team as a bowler 2 years ago, and Monty Desai brought him up the order, and now he's more of a batter than he is a bowler. Pushed into the leg side. Paudell's going to pick up a single here. And how incredible is this when you know there's someone who sees some potential in you, and you've already told yourself you're going to be a bowler, and sees a little bit of potential, gives you the benefit of the doubt, and empowers you to think, you know what, maybe there's more. There's more to me than just being a bowler. And now here you are coming in to bat for Nepal.
That is amazing. The name that comes to mind for me is Steve Smith.
That's played out into the deep. It should be 2 runs. Steven Smith is a perfect example for that. Came in as a very average leg spinner. I mean, when I first, my first impression of him on screen, I was shocked. I was like, this is who Australia's picked. Flighted delivery. And it's played into the ground. But look at him now. What an absolute record holder Steven Smith is.
Sometimes you forget that he came on the scene as a leg spinner because of his absolute prowess with the bat. But I think that emphasizes the point that you're making, is that sometimes coaches see something in you that maybe you don't even see in yourself. And it takes a good coach to draw the best out of batters, or really out of cricketers. Now the switch in roles. Courtney Walsh, who Ryan was talking about earlier, started his career, believe it or not, as a leg spinner. A 6'5" leg spinner. Let's just say I'm glad he made the change.
But that would have been some turn and bounce, That dip from that height.
Right.
It's pushed into the offside. And they're going to stick to the single. The running has been a little bit slower in between the wickets, and you can't blame them. It is hot, humid conditions out there. And Gulshan Jha, he came in at number 3 against UAE in the World Cup qualifier decider. So to go from being a pace bowler to coming in at number 3, you've made a big change. Struck down the ground. There is protection out in the deep. It should just be the single. I mean, number 3 is a very important batting position. For those of you who may not know, you were the anchor of the innings, probably, arguably, the most important batting position. He was also the player of the match in Nepal's ODI decider versus UAE. At 17 or at 18, achieving all these awards and accreditations, Nepal should be proud to have a player like this. That's going to be the end of the over, though. Nepal 82 for 4 at the end of 14.
You never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
6 overs to go in this innings for Nepal. They're 82 for 4. Skipper leading from the top, 37 off 36 for him. Rohit Paudel alongside Gulshan Jha, the 18-year-old, who's looked good. He's obviously got some broad shoulders to be able to take World Cup pressure. And that's up and over into the covers. It's going to be 4 runs. Fantastic shot from Rohit on that occasion.
Yeah, corner drive back into the attack. Coming in from the northern end of the ground, the forest end, so running into the wind. Try to slower delivery, but gets the length and the line wrong. Ends up being about a 5th stump line and right in the slot. So it's drilled away over the top of extra cover for a boundary. I think you're not going to see a slow delivery this next one.
That was nearly out. Short delivery, looking to guide that past the keeper, almost hitting it into the gloves of the keeper.
That almost looked like catching practice, didn't it? He goes back and literally just helps it in the direction of the keeper. I don't think that came off exactly the way that he wanted it to. That looks exactly like slip catching practice that you see before the matches on any game day.
That's driven into the covers. Beautiful looking cover drive. Gulshan Jha, in a matter of 9 months, has played a lot of cricket, Brian. Asia Cup against India and Pakistan, U19 World Cup, and now he's about to play the 2024 T20 World Cup. Of course, co-hosts for that, USA and the West Indies. To be playing a World Cup at 18 is no small feat. What were you doing at 18, Brian?
Certainly wasn't playing in the World Cup, I can tell you that. Believe it or not, this is back in the 80s, and this is before the information age. So I was living right here in Houston. Did not know that there was a cricket league. I was playing basketball, believe it or not.
Shaping into the right-handed batsman, and Rohit does well to punch that into the offside. It's going to be just a single. At 18, I was trying out for the Canadian team.
And you made it at what age?
19.
Fantastic. And you played for Canada 15 years?
About. Almost 15 years. But I'll tell you, I've not played a World Cup, an under-19 World Cup, or India-Pakistan. It's an inside edge into the leg side, and they pick up yet another single. One delivery to come in the over. Corny Dry has had a decent bowling effort, 22 for 1 to his name today. He's got 1 delivery to go in his 3rd over.
Well, you're down to the last 31 balls, so it's time to start pushing on towards something big here.
Speaking of big, that slap down the ground. It should just be a single. It's going to end the 15th over. Nepal 89 for 4.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
Well, as we say goodbye to Brian Walters, I've got Ryan Davis back in the comm box with me. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you, Monali. Well, the magic total of 130. That means the score or the run rate will have to go up to 8 runs and over in the last 5 overs to get that total of 40 runs in the last 5. And Nepal, they're working on everything. Maybe this is one of those situations where they can look to go after things in the last 5 overs to see how much they can get. Or they can just steady the ship and get it, steer it to like 115
think you're aiming a little high, don't you think? We've still got 5 whole overs. We're at 90.
I know. I think to get 40 runs in those 5 overs, they're really going to have to cut loose.
It's played into the leg side. They'll pick up another single.
And with Dill and Dry, fast bowlers back in the action, it's going to be a little hard to get them away in these death overs, which we'll be coming to the death overs pretty soon. Dill had an excellent spell coming from the other end. He's now coming from the southern end. Actually, the northern end.
It's got to be one of those two, Ryan?
Yeah, 50-50 shot. Gushan, 11 off of 11. But what about the skipper? 40 runs off of 38. It's a skipper-type innings in the middle of the batting order.
Yeah, and he really needed to anchor the innings as well. Looking to cut that away. It was short, it was wide. Very little footwork from Gulshan, just throwing his hands at it. A dot ball.
I was about to say, little footwork is an understatement. His feet were stuck in cement. Did not move an inch. Just flashed the hands behind it. Looked very awkward. But again, he's out in the middle of the crease. Gulshan has a chance to get himself back in order, play himself into form.
Well, we've got a YouTube poll on whether Nepal's going to reach 130 or not. Slower delivery. It's driven into the offside. They'll pick up a single. Oh, I think this might be a misfield. And they're going to pick up 2. Good awareness from the 2 batters out in the middle. And speaking of awareness, at 3 a.m. in Nepal, 18,000 of you are awake and aware and watching this game. So thank you so much for that support. That's incredible. And of course, positive as always, 76% of you watching think that they will cross 130.
I think that's wishful thinking. If you were in the dead heat of Texas on that wicket, which is tough to play in, you may think otherwise. I know you're cuddly and cozy in your beds in Nepal watching the match. It is a lot different conditions out in Texas. The batters are having a hard time middling the ball with consistency.
You know what? I think I'm going to side with the fans. I think they're going to
You're
get to
going for
130.
I said 140 yesterday, and I was dead on. So go with me on this one, Monali. I'm thinking 120, 115.
I've got faith in the skipper out there in the middle. That's played nice and fine. And the fielder at third man's going to do the cleanup. I do have some faith in the skipper. He's had 2 good knocks now. 1 yesterday, 1 today. He's on 40 off 39 today.
I think he's going to have to do it by scoring some more boundaries, though. Sadly, he's going to have to lose his shape a little bit, open up his chest and start getting under the ball and going over the top. It's going to be hard to get past this defensive field.
I'm thinking 18th over is when they're going to start to accelerate. If they can try and anchor and continue this partnership, as that's played into the leg side. And of course, he's coming out of really good form too. Rohit Paudel, the skipper, he scored 100 against the West Indies A very recently. Nepal lost 3-2, and he was the player of the series. So he has form. He's shown it yesterday. He's showing it today. And when you're in form, magical things can happen.
Magic, huh? Okay. Can he make it rain in Houston at this point? We have a 3% chance today. 2% actually. That's magic, Monali.
We need Dubai for that. Some of that cloud seeding would do great. Cut away, Uppish, and trying to go over the infield, except he catches the man at the boundary. This time it's Gulshan. The skipper's still out there. Not much of a celebration for an excellent catch out in the deep. Nepal lose their 5th wicket. We're going to take a quick look at that dismissal again.
Well, Gulshan, his feet aren't the best. He's stuck right there in his crease. Didn't get too close to the ball. Just flashed his hands at it like he did a few deliveries before. And straight down his throat. So, going back to 120, 115, Monali. Wicket has fallen, and we have 4.1 overs remaining. I think I'm still thinking 115, 120, but I'm up against 18,000 in Nepal who say 130.
18,001. I still believe there's a lot of time still to bat, a lot of deliveries to come. The skipper is still out there.
Nepal, if they get 115, 120, I will haunt you in your dreams tonight.
The new man out in the middle, Sandeep Jora. He shuffles across well. Played 2 scoops yesterday as well, so he is unorthodox. Your style of batting. And I think it might take a little bit of unorthodox batting in this wicket to get to that 130 mark.
It's so, but it's even harder to be unorthodox when the ball is not coming on to the bat. This wicket, the ball is holding up, so the batters have to play off of the back foot and chop it, punch it, try and find the gaps. Hard to get power in that area unless you're going square of the wicket.
We've still got 1 legal delivery to come in this over. The new man, as I mentioned, Sandeep Jora, is going to be facing that. He's just walked out of the comfort of AC, though, so he still has some coolness in him.
Very much a focal point for Manali Patel. The AC does have its lasting effect. Probably lasts about 3 minutes or so.
I was going to say about 3 seconds, but we'll go with 3 minutes.
Canada, 3 seconds. Oh!
And that is bold. What a delivery that was. And the skipper is out. I think I might have to agree with you now, Ryan, with the skipper out to a fantastic Yorker. Nepal is going to be in a little bit of bother here. They lose their 6, Nepal.
Just what the Hurricanes needed. The skipper was there. He was going to guide them to a competitive score. And now the Yorker, just a beauty. Hitting middle and leg. Nothing much Rohit Pudel can do about it. And an absolute gem.
Absolute gem. I don't know. He was backing away. It was straight. It was full. And in the end, he managed to get nothing on that ball, Rohit Pudel.
So, 6 wickets down. And Monali, I love the fact you're starting to angle towards my opinion. So all I'm going to do now for the next 3 overs is gloat. Hope you enjoy that.
The new man out in the middle, Sampal Kami. Most experienced player, of course, of the Nepal side, and the only player to have played in 2 World Cups, 2014 and 2024 World Cup. This is going to be his 2nd World Cup showing for Nepal, and he's coming at a good time. He started as a batter very early on, and they're going to need some of that from him today, as they are just 95 for 6 with about 4 overs to come still.
Well, Sandeep, we saw him yesterday, and today he's going to have to try to just get off the mark, punch the ball into the gaps, rotate the strike, try to get some sort of rhythm out there. If he stays in his crease and gathers dot balls, it could be problematic for Nepal.
Well, between his batting experience and Sandeep Jora's unorthodox batting style, I still fancy chances for Nepal. And that's a full toss. It's been pushed into the offside.
Well, we always talk about how awkward it is to put away a full toss, especially on your first delivery. It is the last thing you're looking for. That and rain in Texas is the last thing you're looking for. And a full toss came straight at him, and he just punched it. Couldn't do much with it.
The bowler taking that wicket, Umar Farooq.
Until further notice, it is Umar Farooq.
He broke a very important partnership, took a very important wicket as well. Slower delivery, angling into the pads. And Nepal will pick up another single.
So with that wicket, getting the skipper out, the Hurricanes now not too concerned about boundaries. Understanding these 2 batters are going to have to take a couple deliveries to pick up the line and the length.
Well bowled again from Usman, and unfortunately for him, he does the job with the ball and then he misfields off his own bowling, allowing for a single.
Well, as Monali Patel will tell you out there, it is, you can fry or cook a rotisserie chicken out in that heat and understand this bowler is sort of withering under the weather.
Yeah, third over for him, and there's no ice or snow out there.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Pulled away, and pulled away well.
So right there to third man. It was my favorite shot. It's the hook shot to third man, Monali. It is the most unorthodox shot in the book, other than the leg glance through cover. But yet again, played to perfection. They get a single as a result.
I'm really hoping you didn't have a chat with the Nepali side before they went out to bat.
They told me that was the unorthodox surprise shot. They're going to try it out in this World Cup.
I think the coach is going to tell you to stay away. Push down the ground, and it's going to be another single. I think the Nepal coach is saying to his players, do not listen to this man. It's not the definition of unorthodox.
It will get you a lot of runs.
It's going to be the end of the 17th over in Nepal, 99 for 6. Ryan, 99 for 6, 3 overs to go. Paul, he's known for playing pace very, very well. And you'll notice that on his bat it says Geeta Aviation. That is his sponsor. Now, Geeta Aviation knows how to be in the air and fly. And that's exactly what he needs. Some big shots in the air from that bat. And as I say that, there's a big shot. There is a fielder coming around. This might be tight. And it's 2 runs in the end.
They need a lot more twos than singles and dot balls at this point to get to that score of 130. Actually, you know what? We're going to check on Wikipedia. Shabazz, can you tell me what's the poll looking like for the 130 mark? 73% of the people of Nepal say 130.
That's played into the leg side, moving well across the stumps. Sandeep trying to play fine, just finds the fielder at fine leg. Listen.
Do you know, if I was a betting man, I would have to walk to 18,000 homes and collect on that. So, but guess what? 120, I'm holding firm. I'm hurling firm on 120, 110, and that is what I'm going to stick with.
Well, I think I'm going to... Nepali fans, you've got my support. If you're listening, you have got my support. I do believe your team is capable of this. And there's a big shot. It's not where he would have intended it to go, but it is going to run away to the boundary. That's 4 runs to Nepal.
Well, we talked about 2s and 4s, and this is what they need. A slower delivery, a bit of a slog, but got enough of it to get it past point and gully for 4.
Not as unorthodox to your standards, but it was still placed to perfection.
Correct. An educated edge.
Slower delivery, and this has gone high, far, not far enough, but it's going to be safe. It went higher than it did, far, and in the end, they're going to pick up 2 runs. They're moving closer and closer to that 130 mark. Sorry, looks like they only ran that one run. 107 for 6. We've still got 2.5 overs to come, Ryan.
Well, Sumpal got under it. Didn't get all of it, but he survived. He hit it where they ain't. And that's what you have to do as a batter. Found the gap. Fielders were out on the boundary and picked up a single.
Good slower delivery, but he's picked it up. He's gone over the bowler's head. Again, not getting that distance, but he's been very good with the placement of his shots.
Yep, excellent technique. A straight bat, close to his body, keeping his shape. And like you said, didn't get all of it, but he stayed with it. It was a slower delivery. Got a lot of air, but because the fielders are right out on the rope, that is a safe zone.
Slower delivery again. Looking to play that through the offside. It looks like that is Josh Trump doing the cleanup. And we're going to end the over with a single. Nepal 110 for 6 at the end of 18.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle has completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
With 2 overs left in this innings for Nepal, they're sitting at 110 for 6. Sandeep, he's sitting on 8 for 6, and Sampal 6 off 5. Looking to reverse that or scoop that shot. Completely missing that in the end. It goes down as a dot ball.
Well, Umar Farooq got the prize scalp of Rohit Pudel in the last over with a beauty of a Yorker. He's coming in from this forest end, down the hill as you would say. And at this point, doing a great job with the ball.
For those of you watching on your screen, that's gone high up in the air. Does it have the distance? No, it doesn't. And lucky for Sandeep as that falls short of the fielder in the deep. For those of you looking at the screen, you can't tell how yellow it actually is here. Take a look at that replay again. Sliced into the offside.
Yellow?
Well, it's got a hazy brightness yellow to it. And you don't see this very often in non-hot countries.
There's a hue, a yellow hue, absolutely.
Well, if Chris Gayle was out to have his sunnies on under his helmet. Some more unorthodox batting, looking to scoop that. They'll pick up a single. Lucky to not get out on that delivery.
Wow, a good slower delivery. Almost the same length that picked up the wicket of Rohit Pudel in the last over, an attempted Yorker. But they get the single, 113 for 6. Understanding only 9 deliveries remaining. So maybe that 130 could come into play. And then we'll have 18,000 Nepal natives threatening me.
I do believe they can get there. Yesterday you were right. I think today you should let me be right.
Okay, okay.
Looking for the big shot. Doesn't really get the elevation or the placement. They're going to pick up a single, Nepal. 1 delivery to come in this over. Correction, 2 deliveries to come in this over.
Well, if you're the Hurricanes, the ball is in the right hands. Farooq has been very, very good in keeping the score down from this end. Changing his pace, adjusting his line and length to perfection. Never giving the batters any sort of room to flash over cover or mid-wicket. Everything has to be down the V.
There's some good shape on that delivery. It was short, it was wide. And Sandeep not capitalizing on that delivery. They do pick up a bye in the end.
Again, Farouk not allowing the batters to extend their arms. Comes close to the body. But a dot ball nonetheless.
We're starting to see some good shape out there for the pace bowlers.
Question is, when will he come with that Yorker again? Whether it's outside off or on middle. Will Sampal be ready?
Slower delivery. Again, very difficult to get that ball away. You don't have the pace from the bowling. You've got to generate it on your own. And they're going to end this over with a single. Nepal 116 for 6 at the end of the 19th.
never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
So cricket, lovely cricket, in the shores of the great United States. It's about 100 degrees in Texas. In Boston, they will say it's a scorcher. And this one goes through. Another dot ball. We don't have the score for you, but I can promise you this. Nepal is being very stingy.
And I stand to be corrected on that. So we'll get that scoreboard on your screen very, very shortly.
Should we do a poll in Nepal? Is he score 3 or 5? And see who comes close. Brian Walters, 3 for 1, and Brian Walters, hands in the air, deservedly so. Again, wraps him on the pad. Huge appeal for LBW. An attempted run out.
That was drilled through the covers for 4 off the bat of Walters. Ryan Davis.
And Sampal, stump to stump bowling, they call this. Hit him outside the line of off, according to the umpire. Brian Walters, former captain.
Ooh, this one is close. It may have been just outside the line. But look, my former captain is being made to work today and having some really difficult decisions. I'm thinking that one, had I been the umpire, I would have had a really long think about whether or not that was in line.
Sampal drops this one short, pulled away, and it could be the first boundary. It is the first boundary of the innings. Coming off of the bat of Malanta, the the captain of this outfit. Dropped it short, pulled it, and it was the first boundary.
Lahir Malanta is a very capable batter. You can see on that occasion, not much threat in that short delivery. Usually you want that short ball to be up around the face. Otherwise, it's just a long hop that sits up and begs to be whacked. Not a lot of pace in this wicket. So you're really going to have to bend your back to get the effort ball in. And Lahir Malanta showing here that was not a very threatening delivery.
Sampal, this one's turned around the legs. Simple single. Again, in the power play, they've lost the wickets, the Houston Hurricanes. Akarshit has come into the wickets. Had a great innings yesterday. Akarshit Gomel. And it's now 11 for 1.
Boy, the enthusiasm that you see for the fans. Not as many fans here today as who were watching Bangladesh this morning, but still. But my goodness, the enthusiasm that you hear from the fans right now is comparable to when there were a couple of thousand people here this morning.
Well, according to Wikipedia, also known as Subas, Panchi Baja is a traditional music instrument used in the celebrations. Thank you, Subas. And Nepal, bringing the excitement, bringing the environment that cricket deserves into the shores of the United States.
Karshit Gomel, 6 deliveries faced, no score yet, so he'll be looking to get off the mark here.
This one's cut away. Dropped just short. Almost like a fly slip.
Yeah, that peels off the outside edge. You see Karshit Gomel ready. One of the highest scorers in the minor leagues this past season, but he almost loses his wicket there. Might consider himself lucky that didn't carry the short third. That is the end of over number 3. The score is 11 for 1.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
We're in over number 4, and the spinner, the skipper, Rohit Podel, has brought himself into the attack. 11 runs off of the first 3 overs, which is a win for Nepal. And he's going to be bowling to Gamel. This one is short and pulled away. And what we call a loosener ends up over the ropes. 4 runs to Gamel. Score goes to 15 for 1. Yeah. Brian Walters, you know a thing or two about looseners?
My looseners generally ended up where this one did. Genuine long hop, probably pitching 5 yards away from the batter at that pace. That's not going to trouble Lahiri Malanta. Better deliver this one, though.
So second game of a doubleheader. United States losing to Bangladesh, but they won the war by 2-1, winning a historic series win against a test-playing nation in Bangladesh. And now the second match, Nepal versus Houston Hurricanes. This one is pulled away. Fielder got some of it. Just took some of the pace off the ball and saved the boundary.
Good piece of fielding. He saved 3 runs there for his side. That was struck with some power. Had he not been able to slow that one down the field, a short mid-wicket, may just have gotten away to the deep mid-wicket boundary.
Now we can call it looseners for the first ball. But when you reach your third delivery and it's the same long hop,
it's not a lot. It's not.
We don't have a term for it.
No.
So a quick single. Houston Hurricanes trying to rebuild after losing Trump in the early part of the power play. Now 17 for 1.
Well, looking at the big picture, you're needing to score somewhere at the rate of 6 and over, 6.5 and over to win this game. And with 18 gone, in fact, that dot ball right there means that the current run rate is now 4.7, which means that they need to score at 6.56 to take victory. Played back past the bowler. They got a single here.
Look at the effort by Podel, the skipper. Desperate. We saw the desperate running between the wickets that sort of grafted this innings that they had in the last innings to 123. And it's that same sort of desperation to try to defend it. So the end of 4 overs, 19 for 1.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
Prairie View, Texas. We're expecting snow and flurries within the hour. Take that back. It's about 100 degrees. Summer is started. Memorial Day weekend. Good delivery. And Karan KC, does he get a wicket? He does. Held out to mid-off. And Karan switching sides. He started off in the northern end, switched to the southern end, and picks up the wicket. Ball just held up. And the prize wicket of Malanta gone for 14 off of 8.
Actually, Karshik Gamel is the one who's dismissed, playing that one on the up, but not quite getting much into it. Really a nothing shot.
An out shot.
That is an out shot. You're looking to either completely go over the top or you're looking to keep it on the ground.
Yeah.
And he sort of picked the in-between option. Did not work well for him. It just ends up carrying or getting a simple catch to mid-off. So wicket number 2, Karshik Gamel goes for the score of 2. Way there for 11 deliveries. Only scored 2 runs.
It is hard going out there. We emphasize that over and over again throughout the 2 games. And there it is. Panche Baja. There it is. Nepal has reached the shores of United States of America, and we're loving every minute of it.
Oh, my goodness. So one of the benefits of hosting a World Cup is that you get to see all of the different cultures, all the different celebrations, all the different sort of customs specific to each nation. And this is a really exciting one. Admittedly, don't see a whole lot of Nepal cricket in this part of the world, but the little that we do see, there's always enthusiasm, there's always sort of excitement around the team. They're very passionate about their cricket in Nepal.
So as soon as we get out of the commentary booth, we will be heading down there.
To join in on the fun.
And Karan, who got the breakthrough on his very first delivery on his second go around. Ooh.
Unplayable.
Nothing much he can do about that one.
Literally unplayable. Look at this ball, slanted in towards the stumps from over the wicket, but look how this moves away. You're not getting any bat on that. Nobody who's playing cricket on this planet is good enough to get bat on that.
Karan invited him to do some Panchi Baja and then decided at the last minute didn't want any more and left him right there.
Oh, absolutely stunning delivery.
The ball drawing him into the shot, the flight, and then hitting the seam and leaving. Too good to get the edge, as they would say.
Oh. This is actually Smith Patel, former India U19 player, played for the champion U19 World T20 50 over champions in 2012. That same team included, Harmeet Singh. It also included Unmukh Chand.
Well, Monali thinks of stuff out there. She comes into the commentary books.
Gets punched in the face.
And Brian Walters, with a rip snorter, takes out the commentator. So we're down a player.
So now we need an umpire and an extra commentator.
That's right. That's right.
Manala Patel, my apologies. I did not mean to punch you in the face.
Next time she'll be coming in here with a helmet to do commentary. Thigh pad, elbow guard, you name it. Manali Patel will be ready.
In the heat.
Just 2 deliveries remaining in this 5th over. It's been a struggle for Houston Hurricanes, and of course Nepal not making it easy. Pulling away at the last minute. That's not a welcome sight for a fast bowler. Does he push off from the side screen now, Brian Walters? Something you would have done if a batter pulled away at the last minute.
I will say that that's the worst thing as a fast bowler that you can have that upsets your rhythm is right when you load up. And when I played, I was maybe a bit on the heavy side. So I only had 6 good run-ups in me.
You were burly.
I was burly. I only had 6 good run-ups in me. So if you do that and I have to run up 7 times, it sort of irritates me.
Karan. Pitched up. Nothing much you can do with it. You know, we talk about attitude, right? We see a bowler get angry as the batsman pulls away. So Ricky Ponting get hit under the grill with a fast bowler from India. As the fast bowler from India came to look at him, he took the ball and he threw it at the Indian bowler and said, "Get back to your mark." That's what you call attitude. Fast bowlers have it, and a rarity, batters as well. So too the Monali Patel has that sort of attitude. She's just got hit. She has a helmet on and she's coming back for Brian Walters.
The great Vivian Richards said, "I will stare down a bowler, and I will always win." Oh my goodness, is that an edge?
And it's going to be not out by the umpire. He stands his ground. There's no walking. Nepal can't believe it. Panchev Baja is playing in the background. Look at this delivery. Another leg cutter, Brian Walters. Just hits the seam, straightens. Oh, didn't see much deviation off the edge itself, though.
Didn't see any deviation, but both keeper and bowler were convinced. The bowler didn't even appeal. He was already celebrating. So umpire Cameron Best, my former captain, thinks differently. That is the end of over number 5. The score is 19-2.
Well, Monali Patel has padded up, but she's coming in. We'll be right back.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
Thank you so much, Ryan. As I join Brian Walters, he can't seem to keep his hands to himself, throwing punches left, right, and center at the comm box. And that's a good delivery first up. It's going to be a dot ball. We spoke about this wicket being tough, Brian, and Nepal have shown just how tough it is out there for the Hurricanes. 19-2 at the end of 5. See some good turn on that occasion. Rohit able to take the ball away from the left-handed batter. Their required run rate still sitting at 7. Similar equation for the Hurricanes yesterday. However, Nepal were able to hold their nerve in the end. They came out on top of that contest.
Well, first of all, we did not acknowledge it. Karan's previous over was a wicket maiden. And the wicket maiden under these circumstances increases the pressure on the batting side to a tremendous extent. So,
speaking of pressure, the umpire is under a little bit of pressure right now. A lot of appeals have been going up. This time around, the umpire says not out again. Appeal number 3, not out again. We'll have to see a replay of that at some point to see just how close that ball might have been. We'll come back to the replay in a short while. Short back of a length delivery. It's played into the leg side. And the Hurricanes add another single to their total.
Well, you know, we say it all the time. Umpires have one chance to get it right. And you have to make the decision immediately. Those of us who are here in the commentator's booth or watching on TV or on YouTube can rewind and have several different options to look at what just transpired. But the umpires have that one chance. So I'm sympathetic from that standpoint.
Punched into the offside. And Rohit Paudel. As I say that, we're going to take a look at the replay. And it looks like it was going down leg. There was enough turn on that delivery to be taking it down the leg stump line.
I would think, Manali, that this one from around the wicket, bowling right-hand around the wicket to a right-handed batter, the main concern by the umpire would have been, is this pitching outside the line of leg stump? I think that is hitting the stumps. That's probably hitting the top of middle and leg. But the question is it pitching outside leg? I think that would be the only question that needed to be answered by the umpire. So 21 for 2 after 6.
Well, 3 decisions, 3 LBW shouts, and 3 chances begging for Nepal. 21 for 2, starting the 7th over now. As Lahiru plays that into the offside for a single. Abhinash, the new man, in with the ball.
It's actually the right-handed Smith Patel who plays that one into the offside. Smith Patel now 2 from 8. Lahiru Milanta 15 from 12 with 1-4 and 1-6. And a long way to go here for the Hurricanes. It feels like the conditions, Manali, are dictating sort of a cautious approach by this pair. You're not necessarily chasing a huge total, but at some point they need to start pushing toward that total.
Flicked into the leg side. There's a diving effort by the fielder. Going to stick to the 1 run. Abhinash Bahora, he is a death over specialist. We saw a little bit of that yesterday from him. Very good at the Yorker. And of course, he's only in the T20 setup, and he's known for his Yorker, so perfect for him to be in this squad. And a good time for him to come in for Nepal as well. 2 wickets down the Hurricanes. He'd like to try and break up this partnership.
So he would be a difficult bowler to face. He's sort of not quite Malinga, but he's coming from maybe a 45-degree angle, and he's very difficult to pick up. And if he's adding perfect Yorkers on top of that, you can understand why that's his specialty.
Push into the leg side. This might be tight. And we're going to wait for the shout. It's given. That is run out. That is some quick work in the field by Nepal and some very good glove work by the keeper. Nepal, they pick up the 3rd wicket, and Hurricanes, they lose their 3rd. And I can tell you, Lahiru is a very angry man, looking at the umpire in total disbelief that he was run out.
This should give us a good look here. See why Lahiru Milanta is upset. Played into the offside. A quick pickup and a shy at the non-striker's end. And this should give us a good look here. In fact, at the striker's end. And I think that's out. Don't have the square camera angle today, but just looking at where it was caught and looking at where the bat was, it seemed like he just started grounding his bat at the moment that the bails were whipped off. So great work there from the keeper. And yes, the batters would have been a little bit upset, but this replay here I think will give us a good idea. Look at the bottom of your screen. It is Lahiru Milanta running toward the striker's end. Here comes a throw, and this is good work. This is great camera work. Even though we're not square of the wicket, he's short by 6 inches.
Yeah, very, very good throw and good glove work by the keeper.
And by the way, good umpiring work, because we don't have the replay system. Had the replay system been in place, I'm thinking the umpires are going upstairs for that. But it takes a good umpire to be able to judge that effectively and make that call. That is good work.
The new man out in the middle, Chaitanya Bishnoi. He's expensive with the ball today, given an over. He's come in to bat, all because a very good run out just took place. And he's bowled! What a delivery to follow that up. After the run out, we are now 2 wickets, and this is a team effort. You first get the run out, you now bowled him, Abhinash. That couldn't have been a better delivery. Straight, full, and right through the gates.
I want to see the replay, but my initial impression is that there's a huge gap between bat and pad. There you see the front foot goes nowhere. You could drive a truck between the bat and that front foot, and he absolutely leaves that huge gap there, Chaitanya Bishnoi. And oh my goodness, he'll be disappointed with that when he looks at that. You want that front foot to be going across in line with that delivery, and he gets nowhere near. And the furniture is rearranged 2 and 2.
Bishnoi out for a duck. Take a quick look again at that delivery, and you'd have to feel that he was almost rushed on this delivery. Feet planted, glued to the ground. Didn't get anywhere close to that ball, and credit to Abhinash. Of course, he's got the pace, and he's in very good control of his line and his length. In the end, the Hurricanes lose their fourth, 23 for 4.
Well, losing 3 just outside of the power play, only 4 runs, 4 wickets completely lost already in the innings. Not yet having 25 on the board, chasing another 101. You need 101 in 80, now with 6 wickets in hand. This is starting to get out of the control of the Hurricanes.
Well, listen, the Hurricanes are getting stressed, and the Nepali fans have got the music out. There is such a good atmosphere around the ground. I just got a little bit of history from one of the fans. This is called Panche Baja, and it's a traditional musical instrument. It's almost as if they set up a band with all these instruments. Oh, what a delivery that was. Almost beating the new batsman Zia at the crease. It's going to go down as a dot ball, as that's the end of the over. 23 for 4. The Hurricanes at the end of 7.
Never lose.
24 for 4 at the end of 7. The Hurricanes have some rebuilding to do. Practically 2 new batters out there. Smith's just on 2. He's faced 10 deliveries for that. The new bowler for Nepal is going to be Sagar Dakal.
Left armour will be bowling around the wicket to Zia Shazad. You mentioned 2 new batters here, Manali. And those 2 new batters, Zia Shazad and Smith Patel. Zia 1 from 1, Smith Patel 2 from 10. So scoring has absolutely slowed down in the last several overs.
This is some good left arm orthodox spin. And half a shout. This one an easy decision. Definitely outside that leg stump. Just going back to the atmosphere of this ground, I mean, it is beautiful. The Nepali fans have come out. There's music. The families are here. It's nice to see families come out with the young and the old. Some great support. Flighted delivery. Not a lot of turn on that occasion, though.
Well, he's a left-arm orthodox bowler, so any amount of turn would be away from the right-handed batters, Shazad and Smith Patel. And that one actually hit the outer edge of the bat, Manali. So I'm thinking that it turned just enough that will keep the the bowler and the keeper interested. And that required rate is climbing. It is now going north of 8, approaching 8.
It's punched down the ground. They'll pick up a single. I was having an interesting conversation while I was out there for the first 5 overs. Nepali fan thought, you know what, it's just not enough runs on the board. He was worried Nepal's probably not going to have this in the bag. And I'm like, you know what? You really have to give them some credit. This is a very tough wicket to bat on. Mm-hmm. And you can see the bowlers for Nepal are doing the trick right now. They're using everything the wicket has and making life really difficult for the Houston Hurricanes.
Well, Sagar Dakal is looking the part. That's a quicker delivery. Pushed into the covers. Good piece of fielding. Smith Patel doing his best to get a single there, but the running between the wicket is not as assured as you would think it would be. We'll see. This will give us a good look again. Tossed up and played into the offside. Clean pickup in the covers and an athletic throw toward the non-striker's end.
Yeah, very good throw from Kushal Bortel. Diving to his right, pick up and throw in the air. It's what we call dynamic balance. That's going to be the end of the over, though. 26 or 4 at the end of 8.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, pilot and air hostess training.
There you have a shot of the fans dancing away. There's music, there's dance, there's smiles. And how excited are they to come out here Memorial Day weekend in the U.S. They've made the most of it by coming out to some cricket, and not just any cricket, but cricket where their side, Nepal, is playing. The new bowler into the attack, or back into the attack, I should say, is Karan KC. He's bowled 2 overs, just the 3 runs, and he's picked up 2 wickets. What a spell he's having.
Tremendous bowling. Really, all the Nepalese bowlers are bowling brilliantly. Just looking at the quick scorecard, the highest economy rate so far is Rohit Kumar Paudel's. 2 overs cost 10 runs, so he's going at a rate of 5. But everyone else has an economy rate either 4 or below. And that means that the overall economy rate for the innings is down to 3.25. The required rate is now up to 8.17. In fact, after that dot ball, the required rate is now up to 8.28. So you're needing from here to accelerate your scoring by more than double the rate at which you're scoring, and you've lost 4 wickets. So that makes things doubly hard for you to be able to get back in this game.
Well, Karan KC has been exactly what Nepal would have wanted. Just 3 runs off his first 2 overs. He started with a dot ball as well, and here comes in with his second delivery. Looking for the big shot. It has been hit long, and it's going to clear the fence easily. Smith Patel was tired of hanging around, and that's going to be 6 runs to him and 6 runs to the Hurricanes.
Well, if you're going to look to double your scoring rate, hammering a 6 over long on, you can think of worse ways to do it than that. Look at this. This is in the slot. I think you'll find in the slot, and just elevating that ball. What a lovely strike. Long, high, and handsome, as they say. It sails away for 6. So still only 32 runs on the board. A long way to go, but that strike tells you that Smith Patel, after having been there for a decent amount of time, now 9 from 13, but you'd think that he'd be able to push on from here.
Well, speaking of co-hosts, USA and West Indies are the co-hosts. Well, that's a thick edge. And that's going to be another wicket. What a diving effort from the keeper. Thick outside edge, diving to his right. And a tremendous catch to take the 5th wicket of the Hurricanes. Smith Patel, after a lusty blow, is caught by the keeper.
The only question is, do I also get credit for that wicket? Because look at this, a huge drive being essayed by Smith Patel, but it kisses the outside edge, and it was traveling. And that is a spectacular catch to the right of the keeper, maybe knee height, but he dives away and completes a truly amazing catch. The Nepalese have caught very well in this match. First, the keeper definitely, and you saw the catch earlier on the boundary. That really was a high caliber. I think the best catch that we've seen the entire week that we've been here. But that means that 5 wickets are now down. Half the side is back in the hutch, and there's a whole lot of work for the Hurricanes to do.
Well, the fans have got to celebrate. Hurricanes 35 for 2. And the keeper, Asif Sheikh, had made easy work of that, diving to his right. And what a fantastic effort that was. Just to finish my thought on the co-hosts being USA and the West Indies, the bowling coach for Nepal is also a fellow West Indian from Barbados, Rod Estwick, bowling consultant for the World Cup. He's been hired for the last 1 month, of course, former West Indies player. And to have that sort of experience in your coaching right before the World Cup to be played in the US and the West Indies, it couldn't have been better planning from Nepal.
So I will say, if you see somebody out of context, you don't always recognize them. I saw Roddy Estwick walking off of the bus, and after I passed him, I was thinking to myself, that actually looked like Roddy Estwick. And so hearing you confirm that now is amazing. Roddy Estwick, a tremendous bowling coach, has done tremendous work for the West Indies and other entities over the years, and I think you're seeing evidence. There are just great Roddies all over the place. Roddy Lalman of SC Tech and Productions, who is handling the production this entire week. Tremendous work. I don't know who is better at what they do. Roddy Estwick at bowling, being a bowling coach, or Roddy Lalman at production. That would tend to be a good poll. There's another Roddy in the mix who I've never talked about, my brother, Roddy Walters, who is also good at what he does, but we'll leave that alone for now. Roddy Lalman confirming that we are all good.
Ali Sheikh, the new batter in for the Houston Hurricanes. He's come in at a terrible time, 33 runs, 5 wickets down, and they still require another 91 to win this game. And that's well bowled, just short of a good length, tough delivery to play, and all Zia can manage is a dot ball.
That is a tough delivery to play, primarily because it moved into the batter. It actually was on an off-stump line, curling away, but then when it pitched, it moved in off the seam. And so Zia Shahzad is going to have to work here, along with Ali Sheikh, who generally likes coming in relatively late in the innings where he can be more expressive and play freely. The assignment is different here right now.
One final delivery to come in this over. And that's very well bowled. Took the pace off that as well. Karan Casey, it's going to be a dot ball to finish the over. Houston Hurricanes 33 for 5 at the end of 9.
Welcome to View Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
Welcome back. Hurricanes in quite a lot of trouble here. 4:30 in the morning in Nepal on the Sunday, and there are 13,000 of you watching this, so thank you again for your support. Thank you for watching. And I'm not surprised to see that the win poll says 95% of you watching think that Nepal's going to win this.
So, to my Nepalese friends, I lived in Houston for 22 years, but I can objectively state that 95% of you who think that Nepal is going to win this are probably correct.
Of course, we are almost at the halfway point of this innings. Short delivery, but punched into the ground by Ali. We've still got 10 more overs to come.
I will say this. All conventional wisdom would indicate that Nepal will win this. Ali Sheikh is a brilliant young all-rounder. With the bat, I would put him in the form of Harmeet Singh. He can hit big. And so you expect that at some point, if he stays there long enough, he will say, you know what, I'm going to grab the bull by the horns and go after it. Doesn't mean that it will come off, but it does mean that he has the capability of hitting big. And so I want to see how this develops over the next several overs. And again, I'm in the last over of my spell here, Manali. So you and Ryan are going to have to see how that goes from here.
Flighted and slow through the air, Rohit Podal, making it even more difficult for the Hurricanes, taking all of the pace off the ball. We've got 2 deliveries to come in the over, just 2 runs coming off of it so far. Slow again, and that movement is absolute beauty. Just taking it away from the left-handed bat, gripping the surface on that occasion, missing that outside edge. We see a switch hit. There is an appeal, and it's been given. That did look pretty dead straight. And Rohit Podal has picked up another wicket. It's his first wicket, but it is the 6th wicket of the Houston Hurricanes. Couldn't have asked for a better spell from the skipper. He led from the top with the bat. Now he's doing the job with the ball.
This will be interesting to look at. I have to say my initial impression was this might have been drifting down. Slanted in from around the wicket. Doesn't actually, no. I stand corrected. I think that's hitting leg stump. Myron James, I apologize completely. That for me is hitting leg stump, and Ali Sheikh might consider himself unlucky. But looking at this again, from around the wicket, straightening, it would have been close. Maybe it's shaving leg stump, but as an umpire, you have to be convinced, and I think Myron James was convinced enough that that would have hit. So that is the last delivery of over number 10. Houston Hurricanes is struggling. The score is 35 for 6.
We're going to take a short drinks break as well, and we'll be back with you shortly.
You never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breath technically.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
you never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
Welcome back to the action. 76 still required. 9 overs to get there for the Hurricanes. And Nepal, they look to be cruising. They've picked up 6 important wickets. Sagar's back into the attack.
Love the footwork, getting to the pitch of the ball, driving it to deep extra cover, and they're going to get an overthrow as well. It's the sort of thing that gives a manager an ulcer. You just want things to be tidy in the field, especially when you have such a sizable lead. Stick to the basics, get back to the copybook, the textbook rather.
Yeah, you really want to try and make sure that you are completely clinical in your wins. Of course, these things might not be a big deal with such a...
Again, chipping and punching, just the one. Nepal will take the ones all day. But you were saying, Monali.
This might not be a very big deal in this game per se, especially because you've got so many wickets and you've got a ways to go before the Hurricanes can reach the target. But in a closer game situation, the last thing you want is these misfields, overthrows, costing you a game.
This one turns, leaving the right-hander. You want the basics to be taken care of, no matter what part of the game you are. And if you have this room to play with, now is the time to work on those basics and keep it nice and tidy. Turn away to the offside. And it's a misfield. And that also just got a little bit bigger in the manager's stomach. So
I had a chance to speak with the Bangladesh coach this morning. Of course, Bangladesh and Nepal will be playing each other in the World Cup. And the first 2 games that Bangladesh played against USA, Nepal would have felt quite confident. But today, the batting that we saw from Bangladesh was on another level, and the bowling was spot on.
We talk about a statement game in sports. Bangladesh delivered that statement today. Emphatic victory over the US. This one pitched up, just 1 run.
This time ball in hand.
He showed his manager, and the manager can put away the Pepto-Bismol just for the minute.
Oh, the pink stuff. So helpful.
We've all been there.
We have. 2 deliveries to come in the over. It's been a decent one so far. Sagar throwing himself at the ball. Of course, we mentioned try and clean up after yourself. That's going to be the end of the over. 52 for 6, Hurricanes at the end of 12.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle has completely changed with the training I received.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation.
Take a look at the Manhattan between the 2 sides here. Nepal putting up 123, and the Hurricanes, they have struggling to get 250. They have brought up the half century, though, for a team. And you take a look and you see the red Manhattans have really struggled at every single over. Sampal is into the attack. And just going back to that point, Ryan, about the fielding, Nepal have actually received fielding awards. And as a motivator, Nepal themselves have a point system where they track every fielder for what they've done right and what they've done wrong, just for that additional motivation to make sure that you're good in the field.
So when the manager is shaking the bottle of Pepto-Bismol, he's actually keeping track of the players who are fielding.
Absolutely.
I like it. That's called payback. That's awesome. Sampal, the strike bowler, who opened the bowling in this innings, is back on again, interestingly, as we are in the 13th over. And his figures none for 10 after 2.2. So Nepal at this moment, I think, are trying to turn the screws, get yet another wicket, bringing back their strike bowler.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd like to wrap this game up as soon as possible in this heat. That's a short pitch delivery. It's going to be pulled straight to the fielder at long on. It'll just be a single. Again, not very hot in Nepal. They're not accustomed to this as well. Mid-20s. They're just coming out of their spring as well. So this is going to be a good test for their lungs as well.
Nepal, if you are sweating just watching this game, don't be alarmed. It is that hot in Houston. It will affect you in a different continent. It is 100 degrees. I checked it before I came back in here. 100 degrees on the field. Oh, he's gone after this. Pulled it into the onside. But it's a long one.
For those of you in Nepal wondering what 100 degrees Fahrenheit is, I'll have the calculation for you shortly. In fact, it's so hot, my phone is boiling and doesn't want to react.
Should we get some SPF for your phone?
I think it might need it. So 32 degrees is what it says, and there's a heat advisory. However, big swing and a miss. What it actually feels like is probably closer to about 42, especially in the comm box where we are literally in a greenhouse sort of setting.
We're at about 79 Celsius in the comm box. It's that much.
So all of you hitting the sauna, if you don't have one, you just got to be in this comm box.
That's right. That's right. Monali and myself are losing weight as we speak, and we're going to take it on the road. This is the way to lose weight. Just sit in the comm box. Again, close to that off stump, not allowing the batter to extend his arms, and could only chop it to that extra cover fielder.
It's going to be the end of the 13th over, 59 for 6 for the Hurricanes.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the shrinking eyebrow.
Shot of the Nepalese fans. They've come out in the hordes.
Nepal, I tried my best. I wanted to do the commentary with the Nepalese fans, but I lost in the poll ratings with my co-workers. And another quick single, but that's all it takes now. Dill, as the Hurricanes are going to go quietly into the Houston evening. Not much they can do at this moment unless something dramatic happens in the next 2 overs.
Well, we had definitely mentioned it going into Nepal batting. It's a tough wicket to bat on. Sagar making that a little bit more difficult for the Hurricanes. It's a very well bowled delivery. Testing conditions again this morning. USA also struggled. Bangladesh struggled early on. They decided to take some time and figure out the conditions before they went ahead on chasing that total down. And you got to give credit to Nepal with their batting. They started a little weak, but they anchored that innings and brought it to a respectable total.
Again, the captain, Rohit, he sat down and played a skipper's innings right at number 4 in the middle of the order, and had the rest of the team on his back to allow the last 2 batters to come in and finish off in style.
4 deliveries gone in the over, 2 to come. Nepal need to pick up another 4 more wickets. And I think Ryan would agree that we're probably the most desperate for these 4 wickets.
We are 2 wickets away from a heat stroke. Driven. Long off, just the one. And at this point, Zia 23 now, off of 21. And Imran Khan is 8 off of 11. But he can get underneath this one. Actually, it's Dill, the opening batter, the opening bowler rather. And there he is, like trying to extend those arms again, get some power, but he finds long off.
That's the end of the 14th over, 64 for 6.
You never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
We take a quick look at the worms for both of the sides. You see Nepal well on top of the Hurricanes. And that big giant lull in the middle where the skipper anchored the innings and brought them to a respectable total, whereas the Hurricanes, they've lost steady wickets from the time that they started.
A big problem is when you're trying to be aggressive on this wicket, the ball is holding up. So batters are accustomed to playing through the line of the ball, going over the top. But if you do that, it's going to hit the shoulder of the bat or the top part of the bat, and it's going to loop into the air. So they've tried to make the adjustment, but the timing is off. So the power isn't there. And that's why the scores are that low.
Well, Avinash comes into the attack for his final over. Again, we've mentioned that he is a death over specialist, and it is also getting very hot out there. We're not nearly where the death overs are, and Avinash is saved by the fielder out in the deep. That's a very good effort, saving a boundary.
Well, he had the attempted Yorker outside off stump. It turned into a half volley. Excellent cover drive. And something we're getting used to with this Nepal team. Question is, how many points does he get for the fielding that ball? Should we get the manager in the booth?
Yeah, we really should find out what this point system is, because I think they need a point system for wickets.
Yes, they do. But good fielding nonetheless.
That's a full toss, angling down leg. It's just been helped off the pads. And again, a really good fielding effort. They pick up 2 runs, the Hurricanes. And Avinash a little off his mark in this final over of his spell.
Well, Avinash, again, trying to find that consistency in picking up balls at full delivery. He's going to go back to his mark and try again. But Nepal are desperate to get their frontline bowler or their death over bowler hitting his marks.
Short delivery again. Oh, and this has struck their keeper, Sheikh, in the helmet. There's going to be a concussion check, I would assume, at this point. He's taken that straight on.
As if that's why they wear the helmets up there. It was almost that tennis-type shot again because the ball is holding up. Avinash digging it in, and the ball holds up. And the bat comes over the shoulder, or just under the shoulder, and the ball strikes Asif on the helmet, flush.
Yeah, we're going to see shortly the physio Vikram Naupane. He is out in the middle. Going to do a quick concussion check, as is regulation, ICC regulation now after the tragic incident of Phil Hughes. You have to make sure and have a concussion check every time the helmet is struck.
And we'll be right back after this message.
Welcome to View Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breathtaking view.
And welcome back to the action. 3 deliveries left in this over. Previous delivery, Sheikh, the wicketkeeper, copping one right onto the helmet off a bouncer that Avinash had fired in. Outside off.
It's a square drive. Good shape. And they just get one. But what I need right now, Shabazz, otherwise known as Wikipedia, I need a Nepal fielding hat. The brim that goes all the way around. If not, I need a Mexican sombrero or an actual Texas cowboy hat. That's how dramatic the sun is at this moment.
It's a low full toss, driven down the ground. It'll be a single. And for those of you wondering why Ryan is asking for that sort of hat, as the sun sets, it is directly shining into the commentary box, essentially turning it into a greenhouse, being magnified from all of this plexiglass around us.
Now I know why there are camels in the Sahara. There's no chance you can walk in this heat. This is torrid.
And this is coming from a Florida man, am I right?
Absolutely. Florida, there are trees and alligators and so on, but this type of sun will kill anything.
Final delivery to come in the over. It's cut through into the offside. It's going to be a single to end the over, 72 for 6 at the end of 15. I'm going to take your leave as well. And we're going to get Brian Walters in here.
Well, 72 for 6. And Nepal well in control. And it's the Houston Hurricanes that are totally up against it at this point. The big bat, Dill, number 2. Batting with Zia, who's 25 off of 23. And Brian Walters is back to his mark. Brian, I tell you what, Nepal have made torrid conditions and have come through the other end, put up a respectable total in very difficult conditions, and stifled the Houston Hurricanes so far in this inning.
They've absolutely done that. So the names on your screen, I believe, are absolutely inaccurate. That is Shubham Ranjane, who is on strike. I'm going to take a look at the other batter. I also believe that that is Justin Dill. But let's just say, regardless of who's at the crease, the road to climb is a steep one. 11 and over essentially needed from here with only 4 wickets in hand. And the job keeps getting worse and worse and more difficult for the Houston Hurricanes.
I mean, in order for the Hurricanes to win, that worm you see on that screen has to stand exactly straight up, north-south, and move in a easterly direction to win this match.
So Kushal Mala, who is now bowling, has not bowled for a while, left armor. And if you wanted to target somebody, maybe you target the bowler who has had a few overs off, who's not yet bowled. But you can't do it in ones and twos. If you, to make a serious charge at this, you need 11 and over. Essentially, 2 runs off of every ball is what you need. It's going to be a single toward deep cow corner, but each of these singles, Ryan, makes the required rate go up.
Correct. It makes an angrier and angrier worm every single. So it's going to, I mean, it's come to this point of the match where you ask Houston Hurricanes, what's the plan? Are we going to go for this or just going to play out the 20 overs to get your reps? Short delivery, cutaway, just over Cover's head. And one more to the total.
Tell you what, that was not far away from the field at extra cover. Justin Dill with those long levers, extending the arms and not able to quite get that ball to the boundary. But you get the sense that Justin Dill, corner dry, who probably would come in next, and Shubham Ranjane, you'd want to get a lot of productivity from those. And Justin Dill was actually stepping away from the line of that delivery, which essentially took the power off of it.
This one is pulled away, and it's gone over the boundary. We will get confirmation if it's a 6 or a 4. And the umpires are asking the question as well.
Yeah, umpire Myron James having a good long look. I guess waiting for confirmation from the fielder. Cricket may be the only sport where you take the word of the fielder. In fact, it went all the way for 6. So that's, I started saying Justin Dill, Shubham Ranjane, and probably Corner Dry coming in next are the ones most likely to really challenge this total. Shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end. That represents the end of the over. in the context of things, a more productive over than the Houston Hurricanes have had in a while. 83 for 6 is the score after 16.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs.
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
Welcome back to Prairie View Cricket Complex, just northwest of Houston, Texas. And it is Nepal, with all of their supporters, their drums and dancing, that has brought the vibe to this match. And Houston Hurricanes, after the big 6 by Justin Dill in the last over, now has 41 to get in 4 overs. Very doable, Brian.
It's doable. Swings this one away to square leg, but I think you can put away the 1s and 2s for now. I think you're going to need tailenders to do what tailenders do, and it's swing for the fences. Justin Dill, tall, fast bowler. Corny Dry, tall, fast bowler. Shubham Ranjane, more of an all-rounder than a fast bowler. In fact, he bowls fast, but he also hits. Maybe Shubham Ranjane plays the role of anchor, and Justin Dill and Corny Dry to come after would be the ones to truly go after the total.
And bring out the long handle back.
Yes.
Around the wickets, and he's bowling. Stump to stump bowling, they call that. Nothing special. Putting pressure on the batter and make him do something out of the ordinary. And a wicket. Sampal, the strike bowler, gets his second.
Well, the one thing that you can do as a fast bowler to a big hitter is to go around the wicket, close down the angle instead of the ball coming into the fast bowler, which is a better one for him to elevate over the leg side. You go around the wicket, create that angle, and that ball spears into and disturbs middle and leg. Relatively wide of the crease, and in fact, that kisses the top of leg stump. That's good camera work right there. But that is wicket number 7 that goes, wicket number 7 that goes down. And I think you'll see that we're looking to apply the last rites here, Ryan.
Well, if Corny Dry is coming out, it's not Corny Dry, looks like a different batter. We will get confirmation in a bit, of course. But like you said, this is the last chance saloon for the Houston Hurricanes. But with Sampal, the strike bowler, coming around the wicket, if he can keep things tidy, the last 3 wickets will be under constant.
Assuming the jersey number to be right, Donnie, who is a top order batter, somebody who thrives in the 3-4 role, not necessarily that he hits big very often, but he is a true batter. So maybe you might be in a position where you're thinking, all right, so Sean, you stay there, and then it's up to Sushan or to Shubham Ranjane.
My journey of becoming a pilot.
And his right away is going to be off the mark. Quick single. And Ramjani will get back on strike. Exactly what you have to do when you're coming in these tight situations. It's your first delivery. Push it into the gap. Rotate the strike to the batter that's been there for a while. Ramjani now is 35 off of 29. Top score so far for this Hurricanes team. And it's a slug out to long on. And he takes the catch. And he's telling everyone to stay still. As another wicket falls. And it's that man again, Sampal. Bowling stump to stump. And the batter trying to get a move on. holds out to mid-wicket.
Oh, pretty clean catch taken by Kushal Bertel in the deep, lofted down his throat, and not much effort being put into that shot. Really just, you have to go for it at this stage, but clean.
You can't hold it against the batter at this point.
Absolutely not. And so you get to the point where, look, we need to throw the bat at it and see what happens from here. This is now going to be Corny Dry, who I thought would have been coming in previously. Corny Dry, who has played some big cameo innings at the back end of the minor league matches, also plays in the major leagues, of course. But the assignment is pretty simple here. You need, from here, to score at the rate of 11.14 and over.
Which is still not out of the question. But with someone like Sampal coming around the wicket, stump-to-stump bowling, you better get the ball on the screws, or else you'll be caught out in the deep. Or if you miss, it's going to be LBW or bowl down, because he's simplified things right now, the strike bowler, and just putting the ball coming from that angle and going for middle and leg.
Well, LBW would be a little tricky from around the wicket, but I think I take your point that from around the wicket it becomes difficult to attack him. And as long as he keeps that line from around the wicket and doesn't maybe give a little bit of width outside off, then he's going to be effective.
This one is driven, no runs. So as the drums continue to play and the Nepali fans right here in Texas make this vibe, we would like to give a big shout out to Sagar Matha, otherwise known as Mount Everest. Brian and I are going to pop out there, go up to the top and come right back after the next over.
Well, my sense is that it would probably be slightly cooler at the top of Mount Everest than it is right here in Houston. Getting to the top would be a little bit tricky, though.
Well, that takes us through 17 overs, 3 overs remaining, 87 for 8.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs
Made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.
The 18th. This one is an inside out through the point region, long single. And first look at Corner Dry, the bowler. And what did we say at the beginning of the broadcast? I attacked Brian Walters.
You were about to say Brian Lara, weren't you?
Guilty as charged. I told him that every bowler thinks he can bat. So Corner Dries at stumps, extends those arms, but just one.
Oh, my goodness. Well, look, it's going to be pretty predictable from here what happens. You're not going to chase 14 and over with 2 wickets in hand, I don't think.
Reverse sweep in play. Executed, but the fielder is there, just one. Brian, have you ever attempted a reverse sweep in your career?
Not only have I never attempted a reverse sweep, the reverse sweep was not yet invented when I was playing, Ryan.
Well, it just came about in my playing days, and I had a very strict coach. This was in high school. And if you attempted the reverse sweep, you would have to do laps with your pads. And I'll continue. Corner Dry flashes, just the one. And there was not like a time or amount of laps.
Sure.
He would just say, Brian, run.
Yeah.
And you can run for hours on end. until he remembers or you pass out with your pads. This is for an attempt of a reverse sweep.
For an attempt.
That's how strict it was back in those days. Shabazz can't believe it. He's now plugging it into Wikipedia. Shabazz, I'm telling you it's the truth. You don't have to look it up.
He's also Googling a picture of Brian Lara to see how much I look like him.
That's right. That's right. Cut away. It's just one. But the Hurricanes are going off steady and quietly into the sunset as Nepal constrict. 92 for 8. One delivery left in the 18th. Corner dry. Can he get under one? Can he bring him back in the discussion?
The bowling is perfect from the left armor, pitching it outside the line of off and having it turn away. So staying away from corner dry's hitting zone. Anything that is close to the big fast bowler, he's able to elevate it down the ground. But Sagar doing a really good job of keeping it out of his zone.
And he's out. The 9th wicket falls. The pressure is just too much. Corner dry. Trying to get a move on. But the bowling, like Brian Walters just said, as tight as can be. And the man of the series is none other than the commentator, Brian Walters, who's picked up the most wickets in this series.
I'm sure I have like 5 by now. But here we go again. This one actually was not quite as wide. In fact, it was probably on an off-stump line. The corner dry not able to get much leverage, and a pretty simple catch at deep cow corner. Catch taken in the deep.
So with the last wicket coming into play, I'm going to turn the commentary back over to Monali Patel with Brian Walters. For everyone, for myself, Ryan Davis, Nepal, it's been a pleasure. You've actually brought the vibe to the United States. And Monali Patel and Brian Walters will bring this thing home.
Well, Ryan Davis doing what every good batter knows how to do, leave that ball outside off. And that ball left outside off is the 105-degree temperatures inside this commentator's area with the sun beaming down. Manala Patel now wishing she was under a helmet to avoid those rays coming from the west.
Well, I did just sit down and I realized that the sun is right in my face. Got to get up again. 92 for 9, 1 wicket remaining. And Nepal will want to close this up in style. I'm sure they don't want to try and bowl another 2 overs. We're down to the tail end of the Houston Hurricanes, and it has been a struggle from ball 1 for them. All credit to the Nepalese bowlers. Fantastic effort. You know what? It's the bowling effort, it's the batting effort, and it is the effort from the fans as well. I'm sure that has played a role. It's a short delivery, cut up and over. It's going to reach the boundary for 4 runs.
Cut away for 4. No question that that delivery was one that deserved to be hit short and wide. You'll see on your replay here that this is going to be far outside the off stump. Very short. You almost had to jump off of his feet, the batter, to get to that one. 4 runs, which essentially becomes, a participation trophy, if you will, because this game feels like it's over.
Well, Avinash into the attack, of course, death bowling specialist. And this is a good area that he's bowled, making the batter reach outside. It is full, it is wide, and it's going to be a dot ball. Just mentioning the fans again, I'm not sure how much of it is being caught on the microphones, but there is music, there is such an ambiance out there, there's dancing, and I'm sure Nepal is also feeling the energy, and by that I mean the team is feeling the energy that the fans have brought. In fact, Brian, I've actually seen some awards that they've brought in for the team as well.
Oh, fantastic.
There might be a chance of a run out. This is going to be close. A miss hit in the end and really good awareness from the keeper, Sheikh. We're just going to wait, and it looks like it's going to be not out.
This would have been very close. Umpire Myron James eventually thinking that this did not disturb the furniture in time. But look at this. This will give us a good look. Tries to whip it away. Appeal for LBW, but not given. From around the wicket, that's not a bad decision. But this is where the business happens. Underhand throw. Oh, my goodness.
Looks like it's gone by a long shot, Brian. And it has been given. It has, in fact, been given. We're watching the replays, and we see on the ground the umpires have given that out. There was a little bit of discussion out there. We take a look at that replay, and definitely gone by a mile. And there you have your confirmation. Oh. In the end, Houston Hurricanes are bowled out, and Nepal have won this contest by 27 runs. Handshakes all around and smiles from both the players and the fans. I'd like to personally thank all the Nepali fans who've been watching this game, getting a lot of positive messages on Instagram. I really appreciate all those kind words. And thank you to all of you who have stayed up through the night to stay and watch your team play. And this couldn't have been a better start for them as they head into the World Cup. So best of luck to Nepal as they head into the World Cup.
I can tell you that the Nepalese fans can be very proud, not only of their cricket team, but of their cricket culture. It's very festive. It is enthusiastic. It draws people in. A quick look at the scorecard. Very honestly, not a whole lot to write home about there. The biggest score on that card, I know it says Zia Shazad, but that was actually Shubham Ranjani. But not a whole lot apart from that to write home about. A couple of double-digit scores, but in the end, just nothing with the bat. The bowlers were all very good, maybe with the slight exception of Kushal Mala, who's one over went for 11. But look at the other economy rates, all of them relatively low. And Karan Kesey taking 3 wickets, 2 for Sampal Kami, and 1 each for Rohit Kumar Paudel, Avinash Bohara, and Sagar Dakal. Excellent bowling all around.
In the end, Nepal win this warm-up by 28 runs.
And we mentioned him earlier, the former West Indies bowler. Bottom right of your screen right now, Roddy Estwick just went off your screen, and the cameraman will catch up with him in just a second. But that is a man who's made a big difference. We talked about the bowling. Much of that would be due to Roddy Estwick himself, and a tremendous effort by the Nepalese players and the fans.
We thank you very much for tuning into this game. Warm-up number 2 against the Houston Hurricanes, and Nepal have finished both warm-ups on a high. Convincing win for them today as well. For those of you in Nepal, we hope you can get a couple of hours of sleep before the sun shines. Right. Thank you so much for joining this coverage. This is Manali Patel alongside Brian Walters and Ryan Davis signing off. Thank you and have a good one.
Never lose. Either you win or you learn.
Grace International.
Connecting life and learning.
Welcome to Brew, where we bring together the best of all worlds. Come join us today and indulge in the best brews and flavors, all while enjoying a breath technically.
My journey of becoming a pilot was impossible.
My lifestyle is completely changed with the training I pursued.
Quality training with affordable costs
made our dreams come true.
Thank you, Geeta Aviation.
Geeta Aviation, Pilot and Air Hostess Training Institute.